Once you start your soap business, it shouldn't be too long before you start bringing in some business money. And now there's a whole collection of new questions that need to be answered, because that's how it is with a growing business. Every level you clear means that there's a whole new level of questions that need to be answered as well. But let's talk about this a bit, because there are a couple things that you can do now that will make tracking the money in your business so much easier and even encourage more sales. So grab your coffee and let's chat about the money in your business. So here's how it typically goes when you've become a soap maker. You're making soaps and you're getting some ones that you're proud of. The swirl is really great. It's a product that you really love on your skin, and two things start to happen. First, you realize you're starting to have a lot of soap around your house. It's starting to stack up in places. You've got closets full or shelves that are full or other things. And the second thing is you've started to talk about it. You're excited about this product. You're proud of what you're creating and how it functions and how it feels on your skin and how it looks. And all of a sudden people start to notice, and you get the question, "Can I try your soap? I would love to buy some from you." And if you follow that path a little bit, and let's say you sell some soap to somebody, then pretty soon you have a wad of cash around, or maybe they've wanted to pay you with a check, or horror of horrors, they've asked you, "Do you take a credit card?" And now you have some questions to answer about the money in your business. And this can be challenging if you don't know what that next step is. It can even be paralyzing if you just don't know what to do with this money. And typically we want to reinvest in our business. We want to buy some more product, or we want to buy some more supplies, or maybe a new mold or something else. But the kicker is that usually means an online purchase. At least it does for me. And in order to make an online purchase with that money, you have to get it in a form that you can use online. You can't, I don't know of any computers that have a little slot where you can stick the cash in and pay for your Amazon order. It just doesn't work that way. So what typically, or what could happen is, well, I need to get this money somewhere where I can spend it. So you deposit it in your personal account now, and you're going to use your personal card to pay for those purchases online. Now, this is not how businesses run. This is a hobby. Mixing your business and your personal money together, that's not how businesses function. That's a hobby. And if you want this soap thing to be a business, you need to treat it like a business. You need to start treating that business money for what it is. It's business income, and we need to treat it that way. And that means you are going to need a business bank account. All the money is going to go in there. All the expenses are going to come out of there. Now, if you continue to have your business and your personal money kind of mixed together, and you're treating it as a hobby, what's going to happen at tax time? At tax time, you're going to have income from selling your soaps. And if you've put it all into your personal bank account, now you have to sort out which deposits were soap sales and which were other things, and you have to go through and figure all that out for a whole year. And then what expenses were like business related and what ones were personal. Now we have to sort that all out. And maybe you have to go through and sort the receipts if you've kept them, which would be handy. But if, sometimes you don't have the receipt, or maybe that receipt has your things you've bought for your business and your cottage cheese and Kleenex in there too. And now we have to figure out, okay, on this receipt, what's this and what's this? And it can just really make a bookkeeping nightmare. Now, maybe you're the kind of person who loves digging into the finances and sorting out this and that and finding all these things, but I am not that person, and I don't know very many people who are. It is so much simpler to have those two things separate and to work very diligently throughout the year to keep them separate, so that when tax times comes, you know what money has come in for your business, you know what your expenses are, it's all in this one account, and you are good to go. There's no confusion on what's a business expense and what is not. Now, what this might mean is that when you are at Walmart or wherever you shop, and you're buying things, both personally and for your business, it means you're going to have to make multiple transactions at the register. Now, this is a little easier now because there's so much self-checkout. So you can just kind of sort out your cart and do one thing and and bag that and pay it with, sort out your personal stuff, pay it with your personal card. And then sort out your business stuff and pay it with your business card. And now you've got everything sorted out, everything is where it needs to be. Now, if there's a line of people behind you, you might get some funny looks for all these transactions you're doing, but that's okay. They're just jealous. So just let them be. That's fine. They wish that they had a business that they could be sorting through. And if you really want to have some fun, if there's somebody like standing in line behind you, you could just say, I'm so sorry, but I need to keep my personal and my business purchases separate. And just let them be jealous. That's totally fine.
Shanna, what are you doing?
I gotta sort these out.
Sort out what?
This is the stuff for the business. So I gotta make sure we do this purchase first, and then we can do the rest of it.
All right.
Make sure to get the receipt. There we go. Now I can go back and finish the rest of the stuff. Keep your purchases separate. Keep your personal and your business purchases separate. It is way easier to sort the cart when you're making purchases than it is to sort the receipts after the fact. Keep them separate. You will save yourself a whole lot of headache later on when it comes time to account for all these purchases and all the things going on with your business. Now, when you go to the bank to open your business bank account, there are some things you're going to want to ask. You're going to want to ask them, do they have a fee for having a business bank account? Is there a minimum balance that you're going to need to maintain in order to avoid some fees? Will they give you a debit card to be able to access that account? Is there going to be any problem depositing a check, or what do you need to do to accomplish that as well? So be sure to ask all of these questions and just know the answers. There could be fees on the account. There might not be. But you just need to know what you're getting into, know what the minimum balance will need to be, just understand that process. Another question you might ask them is, do they have a program to support small businesses? Because some banks do. When I signed up for my first business account, they had not only a small business program, but a women in business program. And if I enrolled in that program, which was free, they would give me a certain kind of account, which was to my advantage. And like there were no fees or anything on it. And they gave me my first order of checks for free. And that was just a neat way for them to support me as a customer, but also to support my efforts with my business. And I guess it's kind of a thank you too for bringing my business to live at their bank. So be proactive. Ask them if they have anything to support small business or anything like that. If they're doing their job, they should bring that up to you. You shouldn't have to ask. But be sure to ask and just find out if those things are available to you. Now, if you find yourself at a bank, and it might be the bank that you have banked at for years or decades, but if you are opening a business account and it starts to feel like, oh, this is going to be heavy, this is a lot of fees, or that minimum balance is really high, or gosh, they just really don't have anything to help me get my business going and to have this business account there, then you might be at the wrong bank. And do not feel bad about saying, you know what, I'm going to pause this for right now. I'll think about that. I'll let you know if I decide to go through with opening this account, and go down the street and go in the next bank's door and see what they have to offer. We have banked at one bank for all of our married life. So we are very loyal customers to our bank. However, what I have learned is that even in the same town, banks are wildly different in what they offer, in the services they have, in the fees they charge, and just how the whole thing is set up can be wildly different from one building to the next. So don't be afraid to go in a different bank. Maybe it's one that you've never been in before, and ask them what they have available and what services they can provide for you and your business as you're getting started. So don't feel bad about this. This is a business, and you need to seek out the best situation financially for your business, and it might not be the same bank that you bank at personally. So don't be afraid to try a different bank, find that best deal, and find that best spot for your business account to live. The other question you're going to need to answer in your business is, will you accept a credit card? At craft shows that we have been at so many times, I have heard just the vendors around me say, people will ask them, do you take a card? And they'll say, no, cash only, cash or check, and so many times there's a huge percentage at the shows of vendors who don't take a card. And I've heard them say, it's one of these responses. Yeah, it's too hard. I don't want to pay the fees. I'm too old for that. I'm too old to learn that, or whatever. And my question to them is, is this a business or not? Are you here as, what you're offering? Is this a business, or is it just a hobby that you're kind of like clearancing out the stuff that you made so that you have room to make more? What is this? Is it a business or not? And if it is, then we need to treat it like one. What brick and mortar stores in today's economy, what building that you go into to do some shopping doesn't take a card anymore? There are none. Every one of them you'll be able to swipe your card or stick in your chip or tap it or whatever you need to do. All of them, all businesses that are legit businesses have the ability to take a card. This is one of the expenses of running a business, and we need to just kind of ante up and be ready to do that. Here's why. A typical craft show for me, more than half of my sales will be with a card. More than half. So now, what if I didn't take a card? What would that be doing to my sales? And I've had this conversation with, one guy that I can remember at a show I was at, where he said, yeah, I lose a lot of sales because I don't take cards. I said, well, why don't you take a card? He says, well, I don't want to pay the fees. I said, okay, let's think about that. Let's think a minute. I make 50% of my sales are because I will take a card, and you don't want to pay the fees. What percentage of, what's the percentage of the fees do you think? And he said, well, I don't really know. I said, I think it's 3% is a typical fee structure for a credit card processor. I said, what percentage of sales have you lost today because you don't take a card? And he said, 50%. 50%? So by not wanting to pay the 3%, he's willing to take a 50% hit on sales. I said, if you had made that sale, would you be willing to pay the 3%? Because he had just lost a sale. That's why we were talking. And I said, if you had made that sale, would you be willing to pay 3% to have gotten that sale? He goes, oh, yeah, I guess I would have. And that's the disconnect in the logic there of not wanting to pay the fees, not wanting to go through the trouble. If this is a business, this is what you as a business owner need to do. It's an expense that you need to take on, because you are going to make so many more sales by being willing to take a card. It will more than cover. I mean, like what, 3% to 50, that's like a 20%, or like 20 times what that fee was. You're going to make so much more money than that. And it will absolutely be worth being willing to take a little ding and pay those fees so that you can make like double the amount of sales. You as the business owner, it's your job to remove the barriers that would keep people from making a purchase with you. Now, we talked about this a minute ago. It might be someone who doesn't have cash on them. The only way they could purchase is by using a card. And if you don't accept cards, they're gonna go on to the next vendor who does. You're gonna lose that sale. But here's another dynamic that is in play when you are at a craft show. People will come to me and say, do you take a card? And I say, yes. And they say, oh, good. Then that means I can buy more. and that's just a shopper philosophy, or like what's going on inside the mind of the shopper, that if they can use a card, now there isn't a barrier on what they can buy. They're not limited by the amount of cash they have in their pocket. Now, is that healthy, like for their budgeting and their, probably not, but that's for them to figure out. Your job is to remove the barriers so that they can, one, make the purchase with you, and two, make a bigger purchase with you. And all of this is just going to help your sales dollars amount go up and be more, so that you can just bring more money into your business. Now, this is not hard to do. It's going to take some learning, especially if you're not techie or you feel like this is a new concept for you. But you can absolutely do this. It's not that hard, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. To get your credit card processor going, you're going to need to do a couple different things. One, we use Square for our point of sale. That's a POS system, point of sale. And it's very handy. It's very easy to set up. It's very user-friendly. But you're going to need to go online to squareup.com to set that up. And while you're there, you might even find a spot where you can request one of these little readers for free. They generally just hand them out. Or if you purchase them at Walmart, there will be a little piece of paper in the package where you can get a refund on the purchase of your Square reader. Now, this is going to fit into our device here, just like that. And that turns this tablet now into a credit card processing device. The other thing you're going to need is you're going to need the Square app downloaded on your phone or on your tablet or whatever it is, wherever you're going to process your cards. So that way you can use that app to have your products available, do the purchasing, and process the credit card as well. We use Square for our credit card processing. It was this was the piece that we got in place first. Now, you might have a different credit card processor that is more handy for you. Maybe your bank offers one, or possibly through your website or other things, and that's totally fine to go ahead and do that. But if you don't have an obvious place to start, Square is very user-friendly and very it's just easy to set up and easy to get going, and it merges with a lot of other things pretty seamlessly. So it's just a great place to go if you need to get started with this and you haven't before. You're going to want to go to squareup.com and just create an account, and it'll walk you through the whole process there. Like I said, it's very user friendly. This is a financial organization, though, and they're going to need some personal information. So just be ready for that. Be ready for them to treat you as if you were opening an account at the bank. They're going to need to know some information about you. So just be ready for that. However, Square also needs a place to send the money that it collects for you. How it works is you're gonna run this app on your phone. You're gonna say, oh, they took 2 soaps and a lotion and a lip balm or whatever. And then you're gonna hit review the sale, and then it will bring up that plus any tax that needs to be added if it's collecting sales tax for you. And from there you can swipe their card, or you can tap the card too if you're doing it on your cell phone. And then that Square then knows that it can deduct that money from their credit card and collect it for you. Now, Square holds on to that money. They deduct their 3% fee, and then they send that money to whatever bank account you tell them you would like them to send it to. And ideally, that should be your business bank account, because this is business money. It needs to go into that account to make it very clear what's your business money and what's your personal money. Now, you can do, I showed you doing that app on a tablet that I have. You can also do it on your phone. That also works as well. There are readers that for iPhone and Samsung, so you can get them either way. Just make sure you look at what the end of your reader looks like to make sure it's going to work in whatever hole you have on your phone for accepting something like that. So make sure you get the right one. However, these readers, these are pretty basic readers here. You can get these for free. You can either request one on their website at squareup.com, or if you purchase one at Walmart or somewhere else, there's usually something inside the packaging where you can send it in and get a refund for whatever money you paid for the reader. Now, there are other things that Square has that are fancier, a little box that people can put their card in or tap at the top or whatever. You've probably seen them different places where you have done your shopping. And you can, of course, do those if that is intriguing to you. But it can be as simple as this. It can just be a little free reader that plugs in your phone. These still work just fine. They're not antiquated technology. They are old. But they do still work. And you can swipe cards like that, and it will work out quite well. Once you get your account set up online at squareup.com, and I would recommend you do this on a computer and you do it on your home internet. Don't try to do it at the library. Don't try to do it on your phone. Well, maybe you could do it on your phone, but that feels like added complication because you can't always see everything on your phone. So I would do it on a computer, do it on your home internet. And once you get that set up and get the app on your phone, now you're going to need to set up some items, get all your inventory, your different items that you offer for sale in there, but then practice with one of your own cards. Make a purchase and on your POS system and see how that goes. Test the system, see how it works, and then you will be ready to process credit cards at whatever event you are at next where you are offering your stuff for sale. This is what our app on Square looks like when we are processing transactions at a craft show. All of these are our products that we have set up and then put on our favorites page so that we have easy access to them. But now we can go through and tap and say, I'm gonna sell a soap, or I'm gonna sell a lotion. And it's keeping track down here, and we can hit review the sale, and now it will show us exactly what the person purchased. It'll add the tax automatically, so you'll have that set up in here as well. And now we can hit charge, and that will take us to a place where we can swipe the card, or you can say that they paid with cash. But this is a place where you can now swipe the card through the little reader, and it will process that payment on the person's card. Then Square collects that money for you. It deducts the 3% fee that you need to pay and deposits the rest into whatever bank account you decide that it's going to deposit into. You'll do that when you're setting up your account. And ideally, this should be your business account because all the money needs to go there to keep all your business finances super straight. In the end, the big question here is this soap thing a business or a hobby? And if you would love to have that answer be yes, it's a business, then we just need to treat it like one. There's setting up your credit card, being able to accept credit cards, that's just part of being a business. And that's a service that you can offer your customers that's going to boost your sales and just help them be happy they came up to your craft show table. Be happy that they're doing business with you because you have accommodated how they would like to pay for their purchase. So that's just something to offer your customers as from a business perspective. Having a business account to keep your personal money and your business money separated. Again, that's just treating this thing like a business and making sure that all of that is very clear at tax time. But one other thing just to have in mind is not only do you need to start treating this thing like a business, if that's what you would like it to be, but you need to start treating yourself like a business owner. Business owners have to solve problems. They have to learn new things. They have to grow and be willing to step out and try new things. And in general, they have to function differently than the general public. So there might be something that you need to learn. Maybe learning to set up your credit card processing system. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but that's okay. You can do it. Maybe figuring out what you're going to need to have to set up a business bank account. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch. But if that's the case, call the bank. They will help you. They will help you with that learning. With the credit cards, go to squareup.com. Check it out. Look for how do I make an account? How do I get this set up? There are things there to help walk you through that process and make that super simple. So right now, a little learning and implementing now will help increase your sales and make tax time so much easier. These are just a couple little things that you can do right now. You could have the point of sale Square set up this evening, if that's what you wanted to do. And you could get a business account set up at your bank, and it wouldn't take a lot of time, and it would not cost a lot of money either. So two relatively easy things that you can do to help move your business forward and just make it more business-like and more legit in the eyes of the world, and just help you keep moving that forward. In our next video, we will talk about photography tips. Most of the time, people's first experience with your product is not actually with the product, it's with a picture of that product and that physical representation of that product. So we want to make sure that those pictures are absolutely as great as we can make them. So we're going to talk about just a small list of things that you can think about as you are taking pictures of your product to make kind of best foot forward there, and to make them be pictures that will help people, will attract attention and will make them want to explore this product more. So we'll see you in that video.